Welcome to How Preschool Teachers Do It.
This is Alison Kentos. I am an early childhood educator.
And this is Cindy Tarabush. I am an early childhood consultant.
This podcast is for parents and early childhood professionals.
Let our experience and research-based knowledge become your guide. Hello, preschool peeps.
Hi, peeps.
We're going to be sharing a dilemma with you. See what I did with the topic there? See that?
You go, Cindy. You're so smart with words.
Okay. Maybe
Unlike
a couple of editors
me.
might disagree. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was presented with a dilemma that I shared with Alison, and we were just sort of saying, oh, we should talk about this on the podcast because it is a huge dilemma. I work with a program that has a curriculum for social emotional development, which is great. That's not the dilemma. It's wonderful that they have this curriculum to help children to build social emotional skills. And as part of this curriculum, they use things like social stories and dolls and puppets to show children the sorts of socialization and dealing with their emotions that they would like them to be able to do. So here's the dilemma in the year 2022. They have these dolls or puppets and they are demonstrating sharing toys. Only the children are not allowed to do that because of the COVID restrictions. So the teacher said to me, how am I supposed to handle this? I have this curriculum. I agree with this curriculum. I think it's important to show the children these dolls and all sharing. So I take these dolls, I demonstrate, I go through the whole social story, I demonstrate sharing, and then am I supposed to look at the kids and say, but you're not allowed to do that?
Well, in today's world, yes. But because we always talk so much on here about modeling and practicing, and then it's like you're not letting the kids practice it ever. And when are they? When is this gonna get lifted so that they can practice it? And by then, has the damage already been done?
Well, that's a good question too.
Yeah,
because they've spent very formative years being told not to share. And
yes.
I really get what the teacher was saying. She was like, we do need to teach them this. I completely agree with going ahead with it. I just don't know how to address the fact that they're not allowed to in the classroom. Very, very valid. I think, right? And I think that what we need to do is consider, maybe, first of all, sharing is developmental. I can't make children share until they're developmentally ready to share. And we know from research that children are generally developmentally ready to actually start sharing, which is using something together at the same time, little different than taking turns. Taking turns happens before sharing, and then we can get them to use something at the same time. And that generally doesn't happen until, I don't know, sometime during pre-K or kindergarten.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I've said before on other episodes, it's really the pre-K class who would call me into a classroom to show me the structure they built all together as a team. Teamwork is sharing.
Yeah.
So knowing that it's difficult for children to begin with, and then we're going to demonstrate it, but they can't do it. I think we have to think about how are we using the word share, and are there ways that we can use it for things they can do? I'm always sort of like, well, what can they do in my work with teachers and administrators? What can they do? After giving it some thought, and I have to tell you, I just stared at this teacher and I said, that's valid. That's very valid.
It is valid. And what you said about what you're about to say to what they can share, I never even thought of, and I'm in it. Okay. So I feel it, so yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
The role, that's the role I play though, right? I sit back and think about what you all are living and propose.
Yeah, because when you're in it, it's hard to think. Yeah. So.
And I'll tell you what I came up with, but I certainly invite all our preschool peeps to write to us and let us know what you came up with for this, because I'm sure it's a dilemma for all of you. What I came up with is the worst use of the word share more often in things that we actually do share. We share a book, a read aloud, right? We can say, let's come and share this story. We're going to listen to it all together. But I think in that case, kind of like I just did, you have to define it to them. We're going to listen to a story all together. We're going to share the story.
Yeah.
We're doing it all together as a team. And I think that we need to consistently tell them sharing is doing it all together as a team. What else do we do all together as a team? Let's share a book. Let's share computer time. Let's
Computer
share
time.
what else?
I would say just you're sharing time. You could even just say, let's share this time together. Like especially for families, I think if you're making memories somewhere, instead of like actually say, we're going to share this time together, this experience.
We're going to share an experience, right?
Yeah,
let's share an experience.
Let's share this experience.
It's reminding me, what you just said is reminding me, I'm going to age myself again, but it's reminding me of the Carol Burnett show. You know how she always ended her show? So glad we had this time together.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like, I'm not going to sing, I won't torture you all, but it was like, I'm so glad we had this time together to something and share something. I have to look up the lyrics now.
Yeah, but I feel like every day you can almost end any together time like that. You can end your meeting time with like, thank you for sharing this time with me today. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you are sharing the time together.
Okay, if I'm not wrong, the Carol Burnett thing was share a laugh or two.
Okay, you can share a laugh. That's a good one. That's a very good one.
If you're younger than me and you're like, who's Carol Burnett? What was her show? Go look it up. Go look it up.
It's good.
Yeah.
I also think like when a kid comes into the classroom and you're sharing stories about what happened over the weekend, thank you for sharing your story with me. Thank you for sharing what your family did this weekend. Thank you for sharing what you experienced.
Because sharing it's like offering to somebody else that you're going to, in that case, you're going to experience a story together.
Yeah.
It is, I want to just sort of acknowledge it is a huge gap that's going to need to be filled in the future for these people.
Yes.
The fact that when they were very young, that they could not share physical, tangible items in that way.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, teaching them this kind of sharing kind of sets them up for the way adults share. Because I don't share my house with Cindy, but I share all sorts of things with her, advice and stories and laughs and God knows what else, probably annoying things too, that she's like, God, stop. But that's what we do. We share this podcast together. I mean, that's what adults do, so
you'd be welcome here, but sharing it is a whole. I often tell people when we talk about sharing, I often tell people they don't have to actually share everything. Like I don't share my computer, my house, my husband, I don't share those things.
No, we don't share those things. Yeah. So I feel like this kind of teaches them what you would do when you're older, which is to like share ideas at a meeting, that's a good one. Like that's what adults do. You go to these staff meetings and you share ideas, you collaborate together, you're sharing that collaboration. You're not sharing your husband or wife, you're sharing,
Yeah, unless you are, and then that's your business.
Sure, that's cool too. But like,
that's whatever you do, you do. Be you. Everybody be yourselves. I think the challenge of that though is that these children are very tangible and concrete.
Yes.
And so when we're able to have them see what it's like to use a toy together, to play in the sand together and do it together and help negotiate that play, that really helps them understand the concept. And when I say to a child, let's come and share the story, I have to define it. Thank you for sharing your story and telling me about it so that I could enjoy it too. I think we have to explain to them what that means, because otherwise it's just going to be a word they don't know what it means. So many of the words we use, they don't know what it means and we don't define them.
Yeah.
Fortunately in the past, we were able to say, here's what it looks like with items, but now it's still going to be a struggle. And like I said, it's going to be a gap.
There's going to be a big gap. Yeah.
I mean, children who are older than them did it. Children who are younger than them may someday do it too.
Some of these kids,
they'll be in the gap.
These kids, these 3-year-olds have never been in a world where it wasn't like this. Right.
Yeah,
I mean, because they were born right either during it or right before it. And when they were little and they didn't have to share or speak or talk or anything. And, now it's like their entire young childhood has been this, and we didn't think we would be here 3 years ago when we were here, but here we are.
It was wasn't it, but 3 school years?
3 school years.
3 school years.
Yeah. This is the third school year, I think, right?
Well, sort of.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like the kids entering this 3-year-old program, this is what school's like for them. They don't know it any different. But the kids that are older, kids who are in third grade, never had a normal school year.
There was this graphic on social media somewhere where it said like the age of the child and their last normal school year. But now this is normal. And this is how it is for these children.
Yeah, they don't know any different.
We don't know when and if it's changing. Interestingly, there were mandates that came out about people not necessarily having to mask, but you still have to try and keep them 6 feet apart. I don't even know how we're doing that.
Because I feel like that was the distance part is the harder part. Not keeping the masks on. The kids will keep the masks on. It was keeping the distance that was the trouble. So now it's like, but at least if they couldn't keep distance, I was like, whatever, at least they have their mask on. Now they don't, or some states they won't soon or whatever. And
now you have to try and keep them apart again, which impedes this sharing thing again.
Yes.
I don't know, but I mean, all of that, however you all feel about that, the point is items in a classroom are not being used together as a team still.
Right.
And if we're going to use the word sharing in a more abstract way, which I think we have to, I think we're obligated
at this point now. Yeah.
We have to be very specific how we use it, consistently explain ourselves,
define it for them.
I also think that, we can ask them what things they do at home. What things do you use at the same time as other people at home? And talk about how that is sharing, right? At the same time at home.
Share a meal together.
Yeah, but you do that in school too. We're sharing a meal.
So say that at school. Yeah.
Yeah, except young children who are very concrete are going to think they can share their snack now and they can't.
Yeah. I think if you're a peep that listens to us, that's a family peep, because we have peeps that are teachers and peeps that are family. They listen for you need to really maybe model the sharing at home where it's okay to share items and it's okay to share your meals and it's okay, and that's a safe place to share things. So you really need to go above and beyond to model that at home and do it at home.
I agree. Well, you know what that could do? That could promote more playtime at home with your children, which is a good thing. Because one of the gaps that's also occurring now is less playtime.
Yes.
So that would be wonderful if you decided, okay, I'm going to spend a little more time playing dramatic play or manipulatives or puzzles or something with my child so that we can sit and share the item, because they can't do that in their early childhood program.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Or if you have multiple children, to further encourage that at home. And even if you have children who are older than them, to explain to them, listen, we really need your sibling here to practice sharing. So, do me a favor and go play nicely for a little while.
Do this for me just for a little bit. Yeah.
You're right. I think we do need to lean toward home, and perhaps teachers need to be educating families about this. So if you are a professional, I think you need to make the parents really aware that they're not sharing items in school and that you need them to practice doing that at home. And in the meantime, you will use the word share for these other concepts and explain it to families.
Right. And then here's what you could do at home to further.
Maybe teachers could use those puppets and say, do you ever do this at home? Rather than focusing on their classrooms. Do you ever do what the puppets did at home?
At home. Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's a good idea too.
That's an idea I think I may go back with to that teacher, because I really just sat and went, oh, wow, that is a problem.
Yeah, I know. It's not really, because we're so in it now. Like we're so in it. Like this is just, I guess, our new world. I don't know.
I mean, it could be temporary still, but who knows?
I can't anymore with it.
You can. Come on, you can. You've gone this far. You can. You can do it, people. You can do
it. We're doing it. We're actually doing it. So we're doing it and gotten through it so far.
It's being done. I again want to encourage everybody. I want to encourage everybody to do a couple things. Here's what I'd like you to encourage you to do. I want to encourage you to send us more ideas about this that we can share with the community that listens to this podcast. We so appreciate when everybody does that. So please do that. And also, if you have not done so already, please sign up for our Pen Pals thing. We're starting to match people and we're working on matching people.
Yes.
If you've already signed up, we appreciate your patience.
Yeah.
And we will get there. We're trying to match well, so we will get there.
Yes.
And you can do that on our website as well, howpreschoolteachersdoit.com. I'm trying to think while we're still recording, other things that we do share, ideas, stories. I hesitate with the meals because they're going to be like,
well, I think that's a home thing. You share your meals at home, but you had to, if you're a family, you need to say, no, we only do this at home. It's only safe to do this at home.
Right.
You share space kind of at a distance now, but you do share.
I don't even know that that's valid.
I don't know if we can really go there either.
I don't know if we could go there. But it depends on where you are and what your regulations are.
Space.
I mean,
they all share the teacher in a way. Right?
Yeah, I guess. We share playground time. We can say, let's go outside and share playground time. And we're just going to, I guess, chalk it up to one of those. Yeah, this is an issue. Let's write it down on our list.
Sure is.
This is a thing. What kind of adults will they grow up to be without this foundation? What you think they're going to be just happier in a cubicle? Happier in a cubicle. I think that's what they're going to be. Really,
I guess in their own way. It'll be totally different for them. It'll be different for them. Like we wouldn't be able to maybe deal with what they can. I don't know. And they're not going to be able to deal with what we could, because it's just,
what's going to happen
different by then.
What's going to happen? All these offices now have these open concepts where they took down those cubicle walls and it's an open concept. And then they had to put walls back up or higher walls because of COVID-19.
With the plexiglass.
Yeah. So now it's going to be, can I have an even taller wall for my cubicle? Because when I was a little kid, I didn't learn how to do this.
And that's if by the time they're adults, there's even offices left. It might be all like work from home, and then they're in their own little space and they never leave their house, and that's it. They get the groceries delivered in and they just become hermits.
I can picture adults being like in an office being like, hi, can I borrow your stapler? No one else is allowed to touch my stapler. Absolutely. Yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. There goes our food for thought for this week. We'll find it in 20
years when we're still on here. Be like, remember that episode?
Oh my God, 20 years. I feel like in 20 years, I'm not going to be a whole different person.
No, we are.
20 years.
We are. Yeah.
Okay. There was our food for thought for this week, everybody. And
enjoy.
Go ponder
we shared some really good ideas with y'all.
Or not.
Not. Whatever.
And let us know what you think. We love when we hear from you. But still to this day, I think the biggest reaction to an episode was, what do you call people instead of parents? I think that's the biggest reaction.
We got so much.
Let's try and beat that. Yeah, let's try and beat it.
We'll try to beat that one.
Yeah. Okay. We will catch you next week, podcast peeps.
All right. Bye, peeps.